Matt McGregor and the Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. Florida State
Morning.
Panthers. Is it? Who's the what's
No,
the
Seminoles. There
Seminoles?
are Florida Panthers. They're a hockey team over there.
Right.
Florida State Seminoles. I did go to college there. It's a very old shirt, actually, but
I
it still
love it.
fits.
You got the Gators too, because Tebow played for the Gators, didn't he? Out there in Florida.
Yes, that is right. That is our biggest rival, Florida Gators.
Yeah, that's the one. All
By
right.
the way,
Look,
Gatorade it was invented there. That's why it's called Gatorade.
is it really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the best news I've heard all day. Speaking of bad news, let's go into the charts. This is going to be a quick show today because it's just a reflection on yesterday's show. I think I was bang on the money. Yesterday's show, I know exactly where the price was. It was just had touched and had just been rejected off this 200 simple moving average. And in the show, I got long at 108, which was a good buy. And I've just got a break even stop on this thing. I don't trust it. This is exactly what I feared the most, which I mentioned in yesterday's show. The rally just back to the 30 simple moving average and the 200, whatever moving averages it might have been, but it turns out it was them, to get rejected. I said in yesterday's show, go back and watch it. I think it's really important that when this wave turned red, I was treating it as an, what's the word I used? Aberration, that we had every opportunity to recover from this and build up higher and just onwards and upwards, that it was just a short-term market, overreaction to Trump or Binance or whatever reason you want to give it, and that we could just be in the next week, just be back up here. Maybe that's still possible, but the rejection that we've had off those moving averages to put us back at this low here, the floor at 110, I've no faith in the price of Bitcoin right now. In fact, I was trying to be really, really positive in yesterday's show, but this for me, this now makes the red wave a real red wave as far as I'm concerned. This could be a serious red wave. I want to give it one more day. I'll let you know in tomorrow's show, because it would be really annoying, sort of, if we just come back and we just touch on the 7 simple here or the 30. We get back to that area, because then tomorrow's show I'll be saying, I don't know. Where this was in between two trades for me. The rejection made it quite clear that this looks bearish as bearish can be. And a recovery above those moving averages, above the 200, above the 50, I feel fantastic about the price. But I do not like where it sits right now, and I don't think there's a long trade on the table. I mean, if we just go back on the 4 hour here, we've been like range bound for a very, very, very long time. And really, you could consider, I might actually look at this on the daily time frame to give a bit more scope on how long this range has been. Really, what is that? July the 7th, just before my birthday, back here, we've been in this range, and with just a couple of breakouts that haven't materialized, and a few drops that have just stayed sort of in the range. I don't want to lose 108, 109, 110. I think that's really bad. It's really, really bad. I'm not ready to. There's no way I could say something like this is a market top, but it's got the hallmarks of a market top, cycle top. It has those. And the one that's really sticking with me the most is the RSI divergence that I spoke about forever. Called it out big time back on July 7th. Ironically, the same price as we just looked at before. I was really scared about that, and it's just come into play big time now. Even the copy curve is like rounding down. So what does that mean? I mean, looking at the weekly time frame right now, we did come all the way down, and we touched on that 30 simple moving average, which is great because we got the fantastic response off it. We lose that 30 simple, and even worse, we lose the 50. I'm gonna say, and at the moment it's about 102. I think that we're looking at a full blown bear market at that point. I know people aren't going to like that. Not going to like it. I don't like it either. I want to recover from here. I want to be the wrongest person in crypto and we recover. And next week we're back at 125. Fantastic. Let's be wrong, but as it stands, this is starting to look like we're going to lose the bull market for some time, whatever that time might be. We'll talk more about later on if that is the case. I don't want to speculate too much. I talk about it in every show. I don't mind going into a bear market. I've done well to sell some Bitcoin and bought my house and cars and stuff. So I'm personally okay, but it's not good for anybody to go into a full blown bear market. But we can start looking for unbelievable by the dips, life changing by the dips. We'll get to that when we get to that. But as it stands right now, we drop down, touch the 30 simple, bounce back up only to the 7 simple, and we faded once again. This is going to turn into a red star candle if it keeps dropping down on the weekly. Shit, Tone, coming back to you in the studio. Before I go any further, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. We've had like 6,000 subscribers and 3,000 views a day for like 2 years. We are stagnant. We are Bitcoin in consolidation. If you like us, tell your friends about us. We're the best show in town. Tone, am I bloody way off base here with Bitcoin, or what do you think, mate? Am I being too dramatic?
So I am not as bearish as you, and I will quickly explain why.
Good.
So we're going to kick off with the Fed. The next Fed announcement is coming up at the end of October. That is at the end of this month. And as you can see, there is a 97% chance that the Fed is going to lower the rate. I'm not sure if Jerome Powell is still the chair of the Federal Reserve. I think he still is. But I think he's on the verge of getting fired. And then Trump is going to, dump the interest rate even more. I already did my video on Trump, basically saying, he's kind of like he's being a little dictatorial, which sometimes isn't bad, but when you have terrible decisions, it's actually bad. And so I think that Trump will not let the stock market keep crashing. Here's what the stock market did on Friday. You see the massive recovery in the stock market yesterday. Today's candle is not there yet because the market hasn't opened yet. We can look at it on the futures market and see that the futures have pretty much lost everything that it gained yesterday, but we are still very far off the lows in the stock market. So Trump has a little bit of, he has a little bit of wiggle room, but he cannot let the stock market lose the next moving average, and he can't let it crash all the way down to 6,000. So just like in all prior, bad decision making with Trump, like what happened here in this big correction when he was threatening sanctions everywhere, he could only do it for so long. And you look at it in hindsight, well, this isn't that bad compared to how much the stock market fell back in February to April with him, threatening sanctions all over the place. I don't think he wants the market to fall this much at this time of the year going into the holiday season.
Can you just bring up alphanumerics for a second on that chart you've got right there? You'll notice that on the weekly time frame, sorry, brother, I don't want to cut you off, but just go to click on the weekly for a second. That's that green diamond down there in that previous dip that you were talking about. That's what we'll talk about down the road if we start to lose these moving averages on the S&P and Bitcoin. That's what we're going to hang out for. That'll be the crux of the show for the next 6 months if this continues. But sorry, Tony, to cut you off. I remember that example, in fact.
We're still in this 1 to 4 week correction. I mean, this was big. We had an MRI top and an extension C and an extension B, and the extension A was the candle before. Like, this is as textbook as it gets on a weekly MRI top in the S&P 500. And Bitcoin is just, playing along with the S&P 500. It was underperforming the S&P 500. It finally caught up to where for 1 week, both Bitcoin and the S&P were both at the all-time high. Bitcoin caught up in literally 1 week. It caught up to the S&P after underperforming for like 3 months. And then S&P takes a dump on Trump's statements, and Bitcoin does the same. So I am not as bearish as you, because I just can't see how Trump is going to allow the stock market to fall further. He he will use every manipulation possible to keep the stock market up. And it's not that I'm picking on Trump. I mean, every president will always keep the stock market up unless they lose control and the whole system crashes. This happened in 2000. This happened in 2008. This borderline happened in 2015 and 11, but that was all Europe driven. And the United States didn't really have the kind of problems Europe did. And Europe dragged down the stock market a little bit. But then eventually, Europe bailed everything out, with the pigs, if anyone's old enough to remember that. And in any case, because this is literally stock market driven, I am not as bearish, and therefore I don't think we're going to enter a bear cycle yet. I think the bear cycle will begin if Bitcoin really rallies high, or the current bull market could actually drag on into the end of Trump's presidency, and then all shit's going to hit the fan with the stock market and with the price of Bitcoin. But for now, I'm going to trust the correlation. However, on the short-term charts, this looks like a total disaster. And as I said yesterday, if we are going to double bottom at 110, it becomes very concerning. That's a 5-minute chart. I should go to the 1-hour chart. The 1-hour chart for me is very, very concerning. And we have now spent more time at these lows. Well, not more time, but about the same amount of time at these lows as we did before. But now, when you look at the daily, we are on a 6 with the MRI. So at this point, I would want to see us go into an MRI buy at the 200-day moving average. So yes, we might have a double bottom here at 105, but I don't want to see 105. I would like for us to, like this candle is bad. It would be nice if this candle rallied a little bit today, but we got a nice clean reversal candle in the vicinity of 107 and a half going into the weekend for an MRI buy possibility, something similar to what happened back in September 28th with an MRI buy, but a little bit cleaner than this, just some kind of a reversal.
Doesn't that concern you though, mate? Like how many touches we've had in that 108, 107, 109 zone. It's you know what I mean? Like you would call that a triple bottom, if I'm not mistaken, in the vicinity of.
Yes and no. I would. It's a little concerning, but the fact that we would bounce off the 200 daily average is actually very positive for me. And catching an MRI buy, which both times in the last month had rallied us very, very nicely. And when we are in this long consolidation, I'm actually not as scared anymore because we are coming off a new swing high right now. And one more touch in this 107, 108 area is not as concerning to me as much because of other support levels and everything I said about the S&P 500. Now, on a weekly scale, this would be a bounce off of, well,
30.
I think this is my 50. If I
30.
turn off in
Yeah,
your
that's
metrics.
that was your 30 and 50, yeah.
Yeah, so these are my moving averages. We have the 30, the 50, and the 200. So bouncing off the 50 would be a little concerning. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere here, but I'm still okay with this consolidation. I don't know, for some reason, I'm not as scared of 108. I just think it's been consistent support. And in in a consolidation phase, when we are consolidating at the top, 108 has been strong support, and I'm going to trust it for now. I just don't like the current candle. If the current candle could rally up a little bit and then we drop slowly, I'm going to trust the MRI reversal. But the 10 a.m. reversal is also coming, so I do think we're going to rally later today.
Our friend Crypto Oki is asking about a broadening wedge on the daily. Do you see anything there, like a Selgin type of pattern?
I don't pay attention to those. That's not.
I don't see it there at all. To be honest,
I don't see it here. I see a bit.
Well, that's not Selgin anyway. But
yeah, I don't see it here. And a Selgin is not a pattern that I pay attention to.
No, it's I like the Selgin, which is a Tyler Jenks jam, but I like going back and look at charts from like 1927 on like corn futures and pointing out Selgins. I can't act on it right now,
Bitcoin dominance continues to rise, so at least we have something good. I heard Ripple fell like 50%. That's amazing. And it's possible gold finally topped. Remember yesterday I was saying if there is a bubble anywhere right now, it's in gold and silver. And you see gold pull back, beautiful reversal candle. Today's only Tuesday. It can still, close at 4,500 for the week. For the day on gold. That's a daily chart. But if this weekly chart puts in a massive reversal candle, that could be an issue. And here's silver. That silver monthly chart, you guys all saw that. Here's silver weekly chart. There is that reversal candle on an MRI top and extension C. And here is silver daily candle. That's wow. Look at this. That is a daily MRI top inside a weekly MRI top, basically on a warning candle of a monthly MRI top. This is what I said. Silver's top was going to be $50. This is probably the top. This is it. And if silver, I think that's it. I think that's all she wrote for silver. And I can see silver going back to $30.
It won't do it in a vacuum. It won't act independently of the rest of the stock market or gold or Bitcoin or anything, right? Like it won't just do it by itself without the correlation of any other asset.
Silver will. It's like Ripple, right? It will, because there'll be a rotation from silver into gold. Way more mines are going to pump silver onto the market. Gold will be dropping as well, but silver can act independently, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know enough about it. I'll take that on advice, man. All right. Well, that's enough for today, because we need to review tomorrow what's going to happen if we're going to lose this bottom here or recover. I'm really excited about tomorrow's show.
Yeah, because we're finishing up this show before markets even open, tomorrow's show it could be important.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really important show. Make sure you tune in, guys.
All right, guys. I took a look at the ETFs. I think the ETFs are on a massive delay. I don't think the selling has reflected yet. So I think tomorrow you're going to see BlackRock sell like 3,000 to 5,000 Bitcoin on tomorrow's price, because I think they sold them. They got into the deals over the weekend. They had to deliver it today, and tomorrow they're probably going to report it. So I'm expecting big minus numbers tomorrow, but those numbers may not reflect the price of Bitcoin dropping.
Let's see.
All right. That's it.
Come on, screen share for a second. I wanted to make a comment. All right. You want to finish off there, or do you want to come up?
No. I have to find the right buttons.
I love our comment section, and I even love it when they're attacking me. In fact, I find it really funny. But
I wasn't paying attention.
You got roasted in yesterday's comment section. And I just wanted to, for your political views and for
I didn't say anything yesterday.
All right. And also saying like the Bitcoin's got like 20 years left and it's totally fucked. People didn't like it, but yeah. I've got a note here from reading it, guys. Anybody who watches the Tone Vase ecosystem is either going to be far right, center right, or libertarian. We're not going to have any lefties in this group. So I can
There's a
talk.
few. There's a few. There's a few.
Maybe. But even so, what separates us from the leftist animals? It's our ability to have debate, conversation, and opinions. So don't be very careful. I'm really worried about the world going way too far right. We don't want that either. I mean, we want it now because the left is so maddening. But in my opinion, I always catch myself like shutting down anybody's opinion. Like that's what the lefties do. That's when they shoot Charlie Kirk. We don't do that. If Tone's got an opinion, it's his opinion alone. And I'd be hesitant to call Tone an idiot or something, or I'm not watching anymore because he said this. Don't get too tribal. It's Tone's opinion, and he's entitled to it, as are you. That's my opinion on that. So tonight you can attack me, and I'll respond. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like my views on Bitcoin 20 years down the road requires its own independent show. Maybe that's something for the Tone Vase YouTube channel. And if you've watched the Tone Vase YouTube channel, you've seen my interviews of the disaster cycle that I do believe it is coming, right? So if the world has no electricity in 20 years, well, how good is Bitcoin?
This comment, our leftists are not animals. Of course they're not, brother. Of course they're not. Some of my best friends are lefties. It was a facetious joke. But my point is that we're not supposed to attack each other. We're all on the same side, aren't we? Attack ideas, not people's. Good. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. We will do this again tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a big show, guys. Can't wait to see you there.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining.